Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is at FeelThePaynePW or Nick Payne, and you're watching my 27th episode now on my team career on F1 2020. And obviously, because it's the 27th episode, it's now season 2. So if you haven't checked out my previous episodes, please go do so now. The last race, of course, was at the Chinese Grand Prix, where we started. We qualified in P5, but started P4 on the grid and actually made a position up by overtaking Verstappen at the first turn. So it was a good start. We sort of was pushing through, but we couldn't actually make our way all the way through. And then we made some nice little overtakes at the end as we bogged down the order. But unfortunately, it was not the greatest of race. We did finish in P7, but still, nonetheless, it's still a load of points on the board to push on, of course. And as you can see, we've got the chance to renew our sponsorship for another 140 days. And that's what we're going to do with A&F and DSB Optics as well. As we go on through to the activities, you can see that there's quite a lot of days to play with on this one. There's 8 days in total. So we've got a chance to obviously mix and match and see what we want in here. We're going to start off with the aero team building and the sponsor event in the first part of it, and then there's the press interview. So we've only got 4 days left. I was toying with the idea of second driver, but I thought best just to update the car even further and go with the aerodynamics again, just to make it the 3-day and only miss out on a day. But because we've got so much money in the bank at the moment, quite a lot of the money in there, we're actually going to buy some upgrades just to keep working on the facilities for the car. We're going to buy us a powertrain upgrade there. I was having a little look through to see what else I could buy, because I did realise we still had quite a bit of money. In the end, I did decide to go with the aerodynamics, because that's practically what I've been doing from the start. Been building the aerodynamic department up and the powertrain department up from the beginning, spending the most money on them. So why stop here? As you can see, we're actually low on cash now due to the fact that we can't actually afford to renew our teammate when it gets to that point. So we do have to sort of start saving money from here on out, just in case it is closer than we think. As you can see, we've got the chance to go to the press interview now with Will Buxton.
Well, it's great to be back at your headquarters, and I've got to say, an awful lot's changed since we were last here. Let's dive in with some questions. You seem to be stuck in the mid-tier at the moment. Are you happy here, or will you be aiming to challenge the top teams in the near future?
Well, considering last season we were 4th, I do think we'll be challenging very soon. But I am going to go with the support of A&F, due to obviously getting them. We've actually got a sponsor from that, getting that, or a bonus from our sponsor from getting that, so that's good. Would you say it's more important to develop drivers as much as possible? Well, it's just not money, is it? Like, you got to invest in your drivers.
Will your team be going for the Constructors' Championship this season, or just for points?
Considering we're not there yet, like, we are still developing as a team, so I think we're going to have to pick the top one there, hoping for plenty of points.
Now let's talk about that new sponsor. How did that relationship come about?
Well, considering we finished 4th in the championship last year, we already had the sponsor. But if he wants to talk like that, then we'll obviously go with that option, that we're performing that well and we deserve it.
With your second driver being long-term, or will you be looking for someone else if you're successful?
Considering Leclerc's joint top driver on the grid, considering I don't have a rating, obviously we invest in our staff here, so that's what we're going to go with.
Spend some time with you. Best of luck out on track.
Thank you, Will. And as we've done that interview now, we can advance on through to the race weekend. Of course, we did obviously fail that upgrade there, unfortunately, so we will have to redo that. But we're in to the Dutch Grand Prix now. Let's see how we can do in qualifying. And as we come round on the main straight in the Dutch Grand Prix, first qualifying lap here at Circuit Zandvoort. Obviously didn't have the greatest result, finishing out the points last season here, finishing P11. Let's see how we can get on in qualifying today, obviously, to give us a good start. This track, I didn't really like it when I first started playing it, but it has grown on me over the practice sessions round this fast Sector 1. It's a very short circuit, it's one of the shortest circuits on the track, and as you can see, we actually missed the sort of braking point and the sort of turning speed there. So we do lose a lot of time on our first lap, but not to worry, we're going to go through into the DRS zone. And as I was saying, it is one of the shortest laps on the calendar. As you can see, Austria is one of the shortest ones as well, as we nearly bounce into the wall there as we go on through into the final turn, run over the curb a small bit unfortunately, round on the long elevation of the left or right hander into the final turn, DRS open, and it's going to be P8. So considering we made a few small errors there, I don't think P8's too bad of a position for the Q1. That does see us through. Leclerc also through, finishing in P5. So we are through to Q2 now. So as we go on our first lap in Q2, we get P1, and it's on the medium compound as well. So we are looking to get through, but we do go out for a pair on the soft tire just to make sure we get through. But we don't actually make the time, unfortunately. We went out too late. But thankfully we do go through on the medium compound, ready for the next race. As we go out on our first lap in Q3, this is, we can only get P9 on the worn soft tyres. But as we go out on a fresh pair of soft tyres on the second lap, we do improve our time massively, getting a purple first sector and purple third sector. So we do get pole position, which puts us in a great position, ready for the race tomorrow. Let's see how we can get on.
Welcome along then to the North Sea coast and Zandvoort, 25 miles away from Amsterdam, and the host for today's Dutch Grand Prix. It's a race the great Jim Clark won on 4 occasions, leading for an astonishing total of 370 laps. Zandvoort circuit, 14 corners, 10 to the right and 4 to the left, with plenty of steep camber and elevation changes to keep our drivers on their toes throughout a 2.6 mile lap. With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. The rookie lines up on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Ricciardo, Alexander Albon, and Hamilton, Bottas, Sainz, Leclerc, and Daniel Kvyat. Stroll, Gasly, Sergio Perez, and Ocon, Raikkonen, Magnussen, Lando Norris, and Antonio Giovinazzi, Russell, Matsushita, De Vries, and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
So as you can see, we do start first in pole position. So it is a good start that we can obviously get off the line, round into turn 1 as quickly as possible, hopefully. It's going to be a 2-stop because we obviously qualified on the medium compound. So it is going to just be the 1-stop, thankfully, from the medium to the hards. And hopefully that does give us a lot of energy throughout the race. We're going to overfuel the car by a lap just to make sure that we can obviously get around the track as quickly as possible on high or rich mixture. As we go down to the grid, and it's 5 red lights. Long start, and we're underway. We go straight to overtake mode, straight to rich mixture, just to leave the pack in our dust. As we head into turn 1, Vettel and Ricciardo both behind us on the soft compound, which may make this a bit tricky, but thankfully we do lead into turn 1, and we do have a small gap to Sebastian Vettel behind us in his Ferrari, as we're trying to push through into the fast section now. We're trying not to use up all our fuel just yet, As you can see, Vettel is gaining and gaining on those soft tyres. Doesn't help that we're quite slow through that turn as we brake quite heavily there. Slow the car down just to make sure we get through it safely. Don't want to go off onto the side just like we did on our first lap in qualifying, of course. As we come round into the DRS zone, no DRS yet due to it being on lap 1, of course. As we brake just beyond the 100 metre board, turn the car in, turn into the right, into the long left-hander, getting set up for the long right-hander of the final couple of turns. As we've got Vettel still behind us, pushing hard, keeping us honest, as it's only a few tenths of a second as we come across the line, and we are still in first for the time being, obviously setting the fastest lap due to being the first one across the line. As we come round the turn 1 right-hander, and we are pulling away now on Sebastian Vettel, thankfully, and he's pushing away from Daniel Ricciardo behind him. So hopefully at this rate we could be on for a good result here. We're looking good from the start, pulling away as we go onto the back straight, if you can call it that. It's still quite twisty and turny, but as we go across, and that's a better turn, but we actually smash into the 100 metre board. Smash into the 100 metre board, so I hope no one was using that as a braking zone, as we've got Sebastian Vettel pushing right on us as we hit the curb and we spin slightly, and that actually allows Sebastian Vettel through. Daniel Ricciardo's also trying to get through down on the inside. We're going to keep the car in the straight in the middle of the track, but unfortunately for us, Vettel has now gotten in front of us after I was just saying we could be on for a good position here. After we went into the 100 metre board, that was the first mistake. Then we sort of tried totaling the car to line up straight, and then we lost it on the curb as well, which allowed Vettel back through. So we now down into P2 as we've got Ricciardo still behind us, Vettel and myself back and forth exchanging fastest lap as we're still in P2, trying to catch up to Vettel on these medium compound, remember, but unfortunately it's not looking possible at the moment. We're still gaining on him, but as you can see down on the MFD, Sebastian Vettel's gone fastest lap. But as you saw on the MFD, we are having a lot of issues with our engine at the moment, which is slowing us down massively. We are having to compensate and try to make sure that we get to the end of this race. But at the moment, that could be very, very worrying for the end of this race, as we're here on lap 10. And Ricciardo is now coming to the pits behind us, which surely means Sebastian Vettel will be coming into the pits very shortly, within the next couple of laps. So hopefully we can make the jump on him there, and hopefully just push on as far as we can. As you can see, he's now in the pits here on lap 12. So we're going to come across the line, and we're going to be coming into the pits very shortly as well. So we need to make this count. We need to push on as far away as Leclerc's in the pits. Verstappen behind us. Can we push on and move away from Sebastian Vettel, as it's lap 13 and Verstappen is still behind us, still keeping us honest. Only 1.2 seconds behind as we go fastest lap in this Grand Prix so far to end lap 13, to start lap 14. Still got Max Verstappen behind us. Can we push away? Can we keep in front? As we go purple in sector 1 and green in sector 2, we're now going to box into the pits. But as you can see there, we've still got quite a bit of trouble into our engine. And as you can see, as I go to look to the back, you can see a great big puffs of smoke coming out of our engine, which doesn't look good as we switch on to the hard compound. Max Verstappen is still behind us, and as you can see on the side of our car, Vettel is now just got out in front of us, so it was quite close. But don't forget, we have the fresher, harder tyres, so hopefully we can make a move here and get past them as quickly as possible. But as you can see, the engine is still giving us a lot of trouble here as we're trying to get in front, but try get in front without exacerbating the problem here. As we've still got Vettel up ahead, we've got Bottas on a two-stop strategy, going soft, medium behind us, and Verstappen just behind him. Can we make a move here? As we've gone purple in first sector, we touched on the grass there just slightly, green in the second sector, and we actually come across the line to get a faster lap, going green in the third sector, and we actually nearly go to the back of Vettel as we try to slow the car down at the latest point to try and make an overtake. But at the moment it's still not looking possible as we're on the tail with DRS. Hopefully we can make a move here. We've got Rich Mix. We're going on overtake mode here on lap 22. We dive down the inside and it's a great move. We brake late. He tries switching back on us. We don't let him through and we go up into P1 now. We are up in P1 and we're back where we belong at the start of this race. Obviously started on pole and now hopefully we could just push away and hopefully keep the engine in check as we come around here on lap 23. We've got the gap or the interval up to nearly 2 seconds here as we go fastest lap once again here on lap 24. We've still got quite a few laps to go. We need to keep pushing away from him, but do it in a manner where we're not exacerbating the issue on our car as we come through on lap 26 into sector 1, and we're still moving on far ahead. It's a 4.3 second gap now, but as you can see that MG UK is absolutely worn to bits. We are having to sort of slow the car down as much as we can and sort of just take care of the car as much as possible, but as you can see it is just dreadful as we're here on lap 29, nearly a 5-second gap to Vettel behind. So we are in charge of this race, but we are having to slow the car down massively to try relaxing the engine as much as possible, but try to stay in front of Vettel behind as well, as it's now down to a 0.6 second gap behind us here on lap 31, and it's massive clouds of smoke now. I did touch on it during the pit stop that there was puffs of smoke, but as you can see it is hideous the amount of smoke that's coming out of our car now. Look at that, just dreadful. But we've only got 4 laps to go. Can we keep this lead? Can we hold on? And can we keep in front as Matsushita has parked it up on the side of the track there? Yellow flags as he's out of this race. That should really be a safety car, but thankfully it's not as we keep going here on lap 32. Can we carry on going? There's a 0.8 second gap to Vettel behind, and we're here on lap 33. Vettel still behind us. We're still going strong. We've still got the car in check. And we've only got 2 laps to go after we end this lap, so hopefully we can keep in front. And it's yellow flag, and it's us! Oh no! Oh no! We were leading this race, but we're now retired. The engines finally gave way with only a couple of laps to go. That is absolutely dreadful. That's heartbreaking. My heart is just wrenched. Oh, I feel like Senator Amidala, because I'm going to die from sadness after that.
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari do it again. Let's have a quick look at
So obviously, unfortunately for us, we don't get any points, even though we were looking good for getting 26. Unfortunately, our engine does give way, meaning we do not finish in this Grand Prix, so 0 points for us. Leclerc finishes in P6, he does get quite a few good points there for the constructors, but unfortunately for us, we're one of 3 cars that did not finish. Even though it doesn't say that we did not finish, it just says plus 4 laps, because it was so close to the end, unfortunately. And now we're down in P8 in the World Drivers' Championship, just in front of our teammate in Leclerc by 3 points, just behind Lewis Hamilton in P7 as well. So we are still trying to have a fight in the World Drivers' Championship. But it's making us a lot harder after that result, and we're down to P5 now in the constructors, so very difficult now for that as well. But that's where we're going to wrap up this video, unfortunately. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please make sure you like. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Any thoughts, please comment them down below. I've been at FeelThePaynePW. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.